Dan Illman, Mike Beer, race number 9 at Belmont Park on Saturday is the Grade 3 Pilgrim Stakes for 2-year-olds going a mile and a 16th on the inner turf. It is a super afternoon of racing. Bet it at home with the new DRF Bets account. Sign up, get 300% of the deposit match at bets.drf.com. Here are the field of 2-year-olds getting set to go a mile and a 16th on the inner turf for $200,000. The morning line favorite, Mike, is the number 5. Keeneland graduate Opry, 9-5 on the morning line, and this horse really took to turf. No surprise considering he's by declaration of war, but he seems like a horse that's still green. He's still learning, but once he got into the clear in the stretch of the with anticipation, he kicked right on home.
Yeah, it's interesting. They obviously tried to get him on turf. First time out, he actually ran really well in his debut as well on the main track, but once they switched him to turf last time, it's funny because when you go back and watch the race, I mean, he didn't break that great, first of all, and got outrun. Boy, Javi was all over this horse from a long way out, just trying to get him motivated, as you mentioned. That's where the greenness comes in, I think. Once he kicked it into gear, though, about the final 1/8 of a mile, he was flying home. He ran right by that field. A really visually impressive turf debut for this horse, and it just feels like, you know what, this might be his future. Turf going long. If he keeps putting things together and improving from start to start, he's supposed to be pretty tough in here.
Now, he broke poorly in that race. He just hopped right at the start, completely missed the break, and I'm not sure he can really afford those kind of shenanigans in this spot. But Todd Pletcher does well with these kind of horses, as we see with this formulator fact. Over the past 3 years, last out winning 2-year-olds on turf off a little layoff, 33% to 309 ROI. The recent bullet workout on the turf allays fears of a bounce, and Opry just very well seems to be the horse to beat, because we were looking over this field and talking about it before. We don't love anybody.
Yeah, I think that was the real problem I had with it too. I don't think this is the kind of race where, as visually impressive as he was winning his turf debut, where I just felt like, well, he has to win his next start. I felt like he was a horse that you could find alternatives to. I just really couldn't find them. I guess many of them will go to the 7, something like at Hot Brown, who was second in the with anticipation. This horse obviously has some talent as well. I don't know, I just didn't really love him, and I feel like he's going to have a tough time turning the tables on this horse. Timeform
US had one of the fractions in the with anticipation color-coded red, indicating a fast pace, and some like it Hot Brown kind of made the first move into the pace that day to take over the lead. Perhaps he was hurt a little bit by the way that race shaped out. This is the New York bred that won the famous wrong distance race at Saratoga 2 starts back. From the family of Stevie Wonderboy and Thaskin's Theory, who was a good turf horse for Shug McGahee. Some like it Hot Brown, again, might get the jump on Opry again. I thought it was a solid performance, but when the way you watch Opry kick late, you kind of think that horse has got like a big future.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that stuff. I mean, the turf debut 2-back wanted the wrong distance, and yes, he was impressive winning that race, but it's also worth pointing out that was a really fast pace. I mean, they were flying up front in that race, and he sat it out, and he came and stormed by that field in the stretch. Last time, I hear what you're saying, he was closer to the pace than Opry, but I actually felt like Irad gave him a perfect trip. He rated him off the pace. The horse that was cutting the pace of that race was Joyful Heart. This horse chased him, I don't know, 3 furlongs, could not get by him in the stretch. Finally, after Opry ran by, he got up, and he got up for second there, but I don't know, Dan, he ran fine last time. I just didn't love that race from him.
Trainer Michael Dilger's got a couple in here. Let's take a look at the Timeform US pace projector, because stretch out sprinter number 4, Vineyard Sound, is expected to be contesting the pace with the 8 Social Paranoia, Todd Pletcher's other horse in this race. Vineyard Sound was washed off the turf in his career debut at Saratoga. He ran just fine on the dirt, but this horse has a turf pedigree. He's a full brother to Biddle Road, who was a graded stakes winner on the turf, and maybe if he gets to an easy early lead and runs to that pedigree, he could be a surprise package.
Yeah, I could see this horse taking a step forward in this race. I didn't think he ran great in his debut. He got sort of loose on the lead in there. The horse, for whatever it's worth, I don't know what it's worth, the horse that ran him down standard deviation was a Chad Brown first-time starter. He was 2-5. He was entered main track only for that race, and he just came and got this horse in the stretch. I thought this horse ran fine. I didn't think he ran great, but there's a real chance he's just way better on the turf. A lot of confidence Michael Dilger showing in this horse to run him in this race.
Dilger also has the 3 Dashing Dan, who had trouble in that wrong distance race in the career debut, and then came right back to win, showing improved early speed in his second lifetime start. He's got a little bit of a pedigree. The dam's a half to a grade 2 stakes winner on synthetic, and Dashing Dan's newfound tactical speed should serve him well in this spot. And again, it's another confident move from Dilger.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with him. He got absolutely loose when he won his turf debut last time. Just no pressure at all on the lead. The horses that finished behind him in there, they all came back and ran last weekend at Belmont. They did not distinguish themselves. They certainly didn't flatter his performance. He's going to have to really improve.
Big stretch out in distance for the number 1, Rhythm with Soul, who made a successful career debut going 5.5 furlongs at Saratoga. Had the benefit of a fast pace in a field that I didn't think much of. A little bit of pedigree. Dam's a foal to Conquest Panthera. Dam's a foal to Maniacal, who we'll see in the Vosburg at a big price during the Belmont Saturday card. Here's a John Kimmel formulator fact. He seems to know where to place these horses. Past 3 years, last out maiden winners on turf, 30% winners, a 354 ROI. But boy, stretching out 3 furlongs and stepping up in class, that's a big combination. At least the price is right.
Yeah, the price is right. They're throwing a lot at this horse, who just got totally outrun in his debut and then finished up, I guess you would say finished up best of all, but that race did feel like it was sort of coming apart for him at the end. He's just another horse in here. He's going to be a big price, but he's got to do better.
A couple horses come out of a maiden race at Saratoga on August the 25th. The number 2, 40 Under, was 20-1 that day, and he chased a big long shot named Sky Chief, who just tried to steal it turning into the stretch, and he opened up a big lead at the 3/16 pole, and it looked like 40 Under wasn't going to get there, and I think Sky Chief paid the price for moving soon in the last 70 yards. Good for 40 Under to get there in his turf debut. He's by Uncle Mo, and he should be fairly close to this pace.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like he should get the right trip in this race, if nothing else, and it was a big improvement for him switching to turf last time. Stretching out for the first time, switching to a new surface, and yeah, the horse he ran down was a big price, but he kept that horse in range the entire way, and I like the way that it was only the final 16th of a mile, but he finally kept on. He finally got by that horse, and he was clear under the wire. I don't know. I can see this horse running at least that race right back. I think that would give him a chance.
He beat Social Paranoia that day. Social Paranoia has now been beaten 4 times at odds of 5-2 or less. Todd Fletcher's going to put the blinkers on. I think it's because it just took this horse forever to change leads last time in the stretch. And once he did, he started to get into it late. He just nipped the aforementioned tiring Sky Chief for second. Again, I think this horse has a nice pedigree. He's a full to Decabrista Stakes winner. Yeah. I think we'll see some speed with the blinkers on, but right now, he just looks like a nibbler and a money burner. At least, again, the price will be right.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with him. You know, it did, if nothing else, because you're right that his first 3 starts on the main track were nothing to write home about, but it did always feel like this was a horse who was going to improve on turf. I mean, he's more bred for turf. They stretched him out last time. He was under a full drive for a long way in there before he finally started kicking it in. He kicked it in way too late, but maybe it just wasn't that kind of race. And I don't know. I'm conflicted about how I feel about it.
They were tired.
Yeah, I think it might be that too. But you could argue that the horses that finished, you know, that were the horse was on the lead, and of course 40 Under, who was ahead of him, they were staying on the entire way. So maybe he was up against it from that regard. I don't know. I don't love him. I'm not sure that he's very good, but maybe he'll do better in this race.
No surprise that the 9 Spirit Animal improved with the surface switch to turf and the stretch out in distance. He's by the long-winded turf sire, Lemon Drop Kid, the second dam, a graded stakes winner on the turf from the family of the Great Silver Charm. This horse goes out for Chad Brown. I thought it was a solid, not spectacular win last time out, but I wouldn't be surprised if this horse continues to improve for Chad.
Yeah, I feel the same way about him. I mean, if he's just one of the horses in here who's, you know, sitting there at a short price, I'm happy to bet against this horse, and if they don't go near him and they take somebody else, then I could use this horse at a better price. We'll see what happens. He did improve on turf. I just didn't love the race. I thought he got a great trip in there, just sort of forging on through the stretch. It wasn't a big finish for him. Nobody closing behind him. I just didn't like the race he's coming out of that much.
Gary Contestas has nothing but live 2-year-olds, and it seems all his horses have been running at Saratoga into the fall at Belmont. He's got pipes here coming off of an open lengths win in an off-the-turf race. You liked his turf sprint 2 starts back.
Yeah, I mean, he just looks like a horse who could be okay to me. He actually didn't run poorly at all in his first career start. He got rained off the turf. He just got going too late in there. His turf debut sprinting, I should say, I don't know, he ran okay in that race. I mean, the horse that beat him's no great shakes, but he just got right to the front in there, and this horse couldn't catch him at the end. They stretched him out last time. I know it was a sloppy track. I know it was New York bred maidens. I mean, he just crushed that field. I think he's going to be a better turf horse. I think there's a real chance he could take a step forward in this race. He's going to be a price in here. I'm going to use this horse
somewhere. Little turf from the pedigree as well. Dam's a half to liquidity. Trapper was an okay stakes-placed runner on the grass. Old Mole completes this field. They put blinkers on. They stretched him all the way out. Voila! He showed big speed. Distance isn't supposed to be a problem. He's a half to one of our favorites. Dam's a half to one of our favorites. Big John B.
Big John B. Yeah, supposed to be able to go all day, and I love the hard spuns on the turf. His turf debut, winning last time or not, I thought it left a little something to be desired. It was obviously a slow race. We'll see if he can take a step forward.
Let's take a look at our top pick for the Grade 3 Pilgrim Stakes. Perhaps an important prep for the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf. Oprah's still learning. And he is far from a slam dunk in this race.
Yeah,
and the price is not really there. It's just that we don't love anybody else. I think it's Opry or some like it Hot Brown in any kind of multiple race wagers. Underneath, I'd use Social Paranoia. I think the blinkers help him focus.
Yep.
And I'd use 40 under overneath. I'm going 5, 8, 7, 2. You're going 5, 2, and 10. Pipes, an interesting alternative.
Yeah, he's the long shot that I want to throw in somewhere and just see if he can take a step forward, which he obviously has to do. And I'm with you. I mean, Opry, I did like his turf debut. I would be happy to shoot against him in here at a short price. I just couldn't find anyone.
He keeps learning and starts figuring the game out.
Yeah,
Opry has some potential. That's how good he looked in the last quarter mile of the Grade 3 with anticipation when still a maiden. We'll both go with Opry. Again, Mike goes 5, 2, 10. I'll go 5, 8, 7, 2, leaning on 5 and 7 in multis. Bet this card with a DRF Bets account. Sign up. Get 300% the deposit match at bets.drf.com. An approximate post time for the Pilgrim, 5:16 Eastern. Best of luck.